Alright, YouTube. Well, Fallout 4 being almost, I don't know, 10 years old, I figured what the world needed was another settlement video. But I want to show you my component sorting and production factory. So we're here at the Starlight Drive-In. I built out here in the parking lot area. Concrete Walmart looking structure. Quick decon with turrets for security. And then the main level floor here is just a general area. Got your shops, some rec areas for the settlers, and then some hallways with some bedrooms here at the end, so everyone's got a bed and all that good stuff. But you'll notice all these lights are working with no visible conduit down here. So I'll show you what we got going on. So up on this floor, this is what I call the manufacturing plant. Peabody 1001 did a video on this years ago where he'd made an ammunition plant, and I thought, man, that's such a cool concept, so I guess I'm kind of paying homage to him here. But to give you a quick tour, you go and you do a scavenging run, whatever, you got a bunch of junk you need to take care of. Here's a control room, we'll talk about that. But you would come and dump all of your stuff into this hopper, all of your junk that you want to sort, and it's going to leave this conveyor belt and hit this leg and go up to what I call the catwalk belt or the top belt. From here, as you can see, a number of hoppers and component sorters. That belt is going to hit the first component sorter, which has all of the I guess hoppers or sorters for the first line here that I'm looking at. So if any of your junk has you know, these items in it, it's going to kick it out down line 1, where it will continue to be sorted into the correct hopper from there. There's one hopper for every type of material that you can collect in Fallout 4. If it survives the first component sorter, it goes on to line 2, where it hits another sorter. Same as line 1, you know, if it has one of these items in it, it's going to get kicked out for line 2, and then travel down this line until it, you know, finally gets sorted into the right hopper. And then anything that survives to this point is going to be one of the last components, and it's going to hit, you know, one of these sorters and go into the right hopper. I think what's most interesting is this is kind of the front half, how you get everything sorted and aligned. The next question is, well, okay, you've got it all sorted, what do you do with it? So we'll go back down to the ground floor and show that there's a bottom belt which starts under the farthest hopper here and makes kind of an S shape where it picks up along all the bottom of the hoppers. So one continuous S-shaped belt runs through and underneath all of these hoppers until it comes out on this far side, and then it hits our you know, manufacturing machines. So we've got auto loom and a forge just kind of hanging out, armor forge hanging out in the open. But the belt is connected up to all of our weapon, ammo, and other stuff. So the first one's the ammunition plant. So what I've done is basically put one of these diverters on each machine, as well as a switch. So when you interact with the switch to turn it on, that diverter is going to close, and it's going to send all the components from underneath the hoppers into here. Same with the heavy weapon forge, energy weapon forge, and the standard weapon forge. They all have a diverter. So all you need to do is figure out which hoppers you need, what you're trying to build, and turn on the appropriate machine switch, and everything that collects underneath the hoppers is going to go into there. So I guess the only thing to note is all of the hoppers have their own independent switches, and as you can see, it makes for quite the maze of conduit. I'm running on a PS4, so there might be a moment of lag or two when some of these switches get enacted, but all of these conduits are independent switches running to each of the hoppers, so it was kind of fun to figure out how to make all that work, but it turned out pretty good. Alright, so let's try it. So I come back from a scavenging run. I'm going to turn on the top belt, and then I'm going to come out to this, oh, what's it called, the vacuum hopper. I'm going to transfer all of my junk. We'll throw some circuitry, some cloth, fertilizer, and lead in there. I'll hold on to my shipments of steel for now. But I have put them in the machine. Now they are going to make their way. And so we'll go out to the top belt. And I'm sure all of you have already figured out how this works, but I'll give you an example. So circuitry is in the first line, so it's going to get sent down this belt, and ultimately we'll hit the circuitry component sorter and then go into that hopper. Silver, I think, is in the last line, so it's going to go through this component sorter as well until it ultimately gets sorted on line 3. But yeah, that's how it works. Everything ultimately ends up in its hopper. So now let's build something. While that finishes, let's go over to our terminal here, and we're gonna hit the ammunition plant control, and we're gonna make some 45s, which requires steel and fertilizer. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is turn on my ammunition plant.
Do you need something, monsieur?
And by turning this on, that's going to automatically power the belts. So although the council struggles a lot with all of this that's going on, these belts are moving. And then I saw in the recipe it called for steel and fertilizer, so we're going to go hit those switches. I put them in alphabetical order, which helps a little bit. We'll turn on our fertilizer, and we'll turn on steel. And then if we run out here, we should see those hoppers open.
There's no sport in spilling blood if a person earned it. For us, the Commonwealth provides.
So fertilizer is this third hopper, and I'm getting kind of low, so that's alright. And then steel is the second hopper on the end. So we can see the components dropping in. Since I'm out of fertilizer, I'm going to go shut that hopper off. Steel, shut off. And fertilizer, shut that off. And then basically, that stuff is going to follow the bottom belt until ultimately it ends up in our ammunition plant. So it's kind of nice to be able just to flip those switches when you've got just mass quantities of the ammunition recipes that you're using. And then whatever doesn't get consumed in the ammunition plant, I just reinsert it at the beginning and sort it back out again. So alright, well that's kind of how it works, and thanks for watching the video and coming along with me.